Although and though both are subordinating conjunctions and they introduce a subordinate clause, they both mean in spite of something. Although and though can also be used as even though and as though. Let's dive a bit deeper. For example, one of the batsmen scored a century although the team lost the cricket match. Here there are two main clauses. Main clauses are also known as ordinate clauses or independent clauses. They are known as independent clauses because they need no support. They can stand on their own. One of the batsmen scored a century. It's a complete sentence. It makes complete sense. So it's an independent clause. Another sentence, the team lost the cricket match. This is also a complete sentence. So this is also an independent clause or an ordinate clause or a main clause. They all mean the same thing. Now, if we add a subordinating conjunction to any of these two ordinates, ordinate, remember, a main clause, independent clause is also known as an ordinate clause. If we add a subordinating conjunction to an ordinate clause, the ordinate clause becomes a subordinate clause. For example, one of the batsmen scored a century. This is an ordinate clause. If I add although one of the batsmen scored a century, then it does not make complete sense. Something is left. It is not complete. So the ordinate has become subordinate. Sub means lower. So this conjunction which makes an ordinate into a subordinate is known as a subordinating conjunction. So although and though both are subordinating conjunctions. So we can place this although either prior to one or prior to the team. Here we are placing it prior to the team. So here the main clause is one of the batsmen scored a century. The subordinate clause is although the team lost the cricket match, and the subordinating conjunction is although. The point to be noted here is that if a subordinating conjunction comes before the second ordinate clause, then we do not place a comma before the subordinating conjunction. So one of the batsmen scored a century, comma, although the team lost the cricket match, is not done, is not acceptable, is not valid. We don't need to place a comma anywhere in this sentence. But if the subordinating conjunction starts the sentence, like although one of the batsmen scored a century, then we have placed a comma. Although one of the batsmen scored a century, comma, the team lost the cricket match. We'll deal with this a bit further on. Another point to note is that if although and though come after an ordinate clause, it means but. Now here in this sentence, one of the batsmen scored a century, although is coming after the ordinate clause. So here although means but. So we can say one of the batsmen scored a century, but the team lost the cricket match. Although, though and but, they all mean the same thing and they are interchangeable. Another example can be, though it was sunny, they did not wear their hats. Now see here, though is the subordinating conjunction. It was sunny is an independent clause. They did not wear their hats is an independent clause. These two independent clauses are joined by a subordinating conjunction, which is though. Though it was sunny, so we place a comma after sunny, because it is starting with a subordinating conjunction. So if a subordinating conjunction starts the sentence, then we place a comma after the subordinating clause. Though it was sunny, we place a comma. Whereas if the subordinating conjunction does not start the sentence, but comes somewhere in the middle, then we do not place a comma. We can also use even though instead of though. If we use even though, then we are placing emphasis on it. For example, they did not wear their hats even though it was sunny. So we can place this prior, like even though it was sunny, they did not wear their hats. Now when the subordinating conjunction comes prior, then we place a comma. Note how the comma is not placed in the first sentence and how it is placed in the second sentence. In the first sentence, the comma is not placed because the subordinating conjunction is in the middle. Whereas in the second sentence, the comma is placed because the sentence starts with a subordinating conjunction. In many cases, we use as though to mean as if. For example, you look as though you have not eaten for years. We can replace as though with as if. Then the sentence becomes, you look as if you have not eaten for years. As if is more commonly used than as though. So generally people say as if. but sometimes as though is also used. We can use though, although, even though to introduce a clause without a verb. A clause without a verb is a reduced clause because it has no verb. Or an ing clause. Ing clause means a clause which has a word which ends with ing. Like feeling, going, walking, talking, singing. So it ends with ing. Any clause with that word is known as an ing clause. Let us see some examples. Though more costly, the silk dress is a better choice. Though is beginning the sentence. Though starts the sentence. Though more costly. So we place a comma. She, although feeling better, still needs to recuperate. Richard, even though very tired, continued to walk. The usage may be as a non-essential appositive which is placed between two commas. For example, she, although feeling better, still needs to recuperate. Here, although feeling better is placed between two commas as a non-essential appositive. Though can mean however. In spoken English, we use though to mean however or nevertheless. We don't generally use although or even though. If though is used to mean however, then we usually place it at the very last of a clause. For example, that dress is expensive. I will buy it though. It means I will buy it however, or I will buy it nevertheless. So, though can mean however. In brief, you can use although, though, even though, as subordinating conjunctions. The punctuation changes where the conjunction is placed. Is it placed at the beginning or in the middle or at the end? I hope this lesson cleared the usages of these words. With more practice, you will definitely gain more clarity. Thank you.